Hey Super Cruisers, it's Kevin and Frank from Cruising with Wheels.
And welcome to another Q&A. And buckle up, because today it's gonna get personal.
So before we get started today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Teespring. I wanted to welcome all our Cruising with Wheels family to check out our Teespring store. All you have to do is click on one of the pictures of the t-shirts below this video or go into the description of the video and you will find a link to our Teespring store that has tons of great cruising apparel. So, I hear this is a little personal today, though.
Yes, it is. Half the questions we have today are personal, and the other half are cruise questions. So we've intermingled personal with cruising.
Well, what's the first question? Let's jump right in.
Okay. First question is from Alicia that says, Kevin, how long have you been a hairdresser? And tell us more about your music background. I've watched your karaoke videos. Why didn't you pursue that? Your famous musical career.
Well, I've been a hairdresser for a little over 30 years. And I went to, as far as music was concerned, I grew up in a very musical family. My mother was a music teacher.
Okay, yeah.
And I decided to go pursue music. Little did I know, all you kids out there, make sure that you can make a career out of what you go to college for.
You may love it, but does it produce the bucks?
That's right.
And you went to...
So I went to Eastman School of Music. It's a local university.
Yeah.
I have a dual disciplinary degree in voice and in music theory. And nobody really told me that you can't really make a living being an opera singer. So I guess that's what made my decision. I would have had to move to like California or Nashville, or I was actually originally I was offered a job doing background vocals for a studio in California, but my brothers and sisters had all left the roost, and I kind of felt like I was the last one here and I should stay. And
oh boy,
I have a good career as a hairdresser, so, and I enjoy it.
I just want to say on a side note, I can't sing. Okay, there we go.
He can sing a little bit. So let's see what Brian has to say, because Brian asks, if someone offered you $1 million to eat the food you hate the most, what would it be? And what was your worst cruise food ever?
Oh gosh, this sounds like a TV reality show. $1 million to eat food that you absolutely hate the most. What would be the worst thing ever that I'd be like, oh hell no, no way, baby, unless maybe there's $1 million. The first thing that comes to mind is raw oysters.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But you know what? You could get those down real quick.
I couldn't. They look like giant boogers.
You ever do shots?
No.
You never did shots?
No. I just took the bottle and went like that. Does that count as a big
shot?
It's a big shot.
Because that's what you'd have to do with that.
I don't think I could. Seafood is not my thing. And raw oysters, raw fish, I might be able to tolerate the sushi, a little sushi, you know. But
anything,
a raw oyster and
you'd be able to tolerate anything with a little bit of hot sauce.
So you claim. Worst ever cruise.
For $1 million, I'd eat it.
Okay. Worst ever cruise food. I mean, the cruise food.
Would that be for me or for?
No, that would be followed by me. Worst ever for the money, but worst ever cruise food, I think was that. What was that? That alleged meat, veal Oscar.
Oh yeah, we called it monkey meat.
Yes, the veal Oscar. It tasted worse than shoe leather, and I
have a worst ever.
One bite, and that was the end of that. Yeah, that was probably the worst.
I have a worst ever.
Okay, what's your worst for $1 million?
I will tell you. Well, I wouldn't eat it. But I'd eat anything. I would eat anything for $1 million.
Okay, well there you
Okay.
go. Anybody out there,
There
got
you
$1 million
go.
to throw?
Don't care. I
I'm
would make
I'm
myself do
holding
it.
the line a bit, but he's up for everything.
As
and
far as my worst cruise food ever, it would have to have been on the Carnival Conquest, and it would have to have been the raw chicken.
Bloody raw
it was
chicken.
Crispy outside, but completely raw and icicled on the inside.
It was looking beautiful.
And it was twice.
Yes.
It can't,
Yeah.
because we sent it back. I would say that would have been my worst meal ever. Was on the Carnival Conquest with that chicken.
It was gross.
And
We
I
were
never ordered it again.
Horrified, sent it back, notified the chef. They came with a new plate, and it was still raw.
It was still disgusting.
Yeah,
Disgusting. What's like the little kid does that? Disgusting.
Next is from Jenny, and Jenny is asking, Frank, you are a lot older than Kevin. Huh? Say what? What is the age difference between the two of you, and how did you both meet? What? I look older than you?
Oh, yeah.
I am 17 years older than Kevin. I was born in 1957. He was born in 1974.
I was at his graduation.
He was a year old when I graduated from high school in 1975, and we always joke because my graduation was held actually downtown in the Eastman Theater. Again, everything is Eastman here after Kodak, George Eastman. And I always joke this as when I was walking down the aisle to get my diploma, there was a cute little 1-year-old baby in the audience, and that was you watching me.
We were, my family was at your graduation because cousins went to school with you.
So there you go.
So,
yeah, so
funny.
17 years. How did we meet? We met online in a Rochester.
We met in a chat group.
Yeah, it was a Rochester gay chat group. And I think you popped in to say hi.
They're thinking of like a swipe right, swipe
no,
left, that kind of thing.
This was way back.
This was back with the internet when it went dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Yeah.
You could, clean your house, wax your car
While you're waiting for the
computer to boot up.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, online. And I think we chatted online on a Monday and then a Tuesday, and then we made an arrangement to meet for dinner that Friday. And that Friday we met for dinner. We went to Panzari's, which is an Italian restaurant where I was living at the time.
Best Italian restaurant ever, and we don't know why it closed.
Yeah, and so we met Friday for dinner. That Friday we had dinner together. It was November 11th. And so, and then segue how many years later, and we were married on November 11th. Mm-hmm. So 11/11, and we were married on 11/11/11. Mm-hmm. And there you go.
Isn't that interesting? So there you go. The next question comes from Carla. Oh, and it's for me, I think.
Yeah.
Kevin, you seem to really be into casinos at home and on board the ships.
Yeah.
Can you really win a lot of money while on a cruise, or is it rigged against a captive audience? Well,
do tell.
Well.
Casinos are run by...
You can... I'm going to start out by answering her question, okay? I do love a good slot machine. I do love the casinos, but you have to have a limit, right?
You got to know when to stop.
You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them, just like the song. You got to know when to walk away. But what I'm going to tell you is the casinos on board a cruise ship. I'm extremely careful when we're on the cruise ship with this, because the casinos on a cruise ship are not regulated by anyone. They can set all the machines to not win. They can set them to all win. They can set them to, these couple win and these couple don't. Land-based casinos are regulated by the Gaming Commission of the local municipality and will have stipulations like you have to have so many machines that win 97% of the time.
Right.
It's very, very much regulated, controlled, and monitored. The casinos at sea, which is
the name of the company that runs it.
They're not regulated by anyone.
And this is why I always put a little money aside per person per day for casino. And when that money is done,
we're done.
We're done.
We are done. And we have actually gone on free casino cruises.
Yes.
From our play.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not about
the immediate win.
Win. Sometimes it's more about play, right? Because I like to play.
Right. He likes that time invested.
It's the time factor. It's not necessarily, oh my God, I just won $50,000.
Right. And they know how much time.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that'd be great.
Yeah, you're sitting in the casino in the machine or whatever game you're playing, and then all of a sudden you get home and you start receiving all these casino offers for
free play.
Right, and
gifts,
like $500 free
blah, blah.
casino, $1,000.
Well, that's with the cruise line.
Yeah.
So we've gone on free cruises where they've given us free money.
Yeah.
And we've walked on the boat, on the ship, I should say. I've gone to the casino. Handed them the card. They hand me, $1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I go, put this in the safe, please.
I go like this.
And that comes back home with us. So that's another way that you can get your cruise on. Right. Just knowing that you have a limit.
Right.
Because most cruisers will just say, oh, wow, I'm getting $1,000 free, and then hit the casino and blow it. Yeah. We would rather save it for our next cruise.
Right.
And there's nothing that says I have to spend it.
That's true. True. Please don't. The next question is from Barbara. Why did you decide to start a YouTube channel? It seems like a lot of work and a big headache. Yes, and possibly yes. Yeah, it is a lot of work. People think that that the day the video posts, like today is we're filming. It's a Tuesday, and we had a video post today.
Well, we'll tell them exactly what it is. So today you are seeing this video on July 7th of 2022, but today we're filming it is actually June 7th.
So we're a month
ahead.
We always try to be a month and a half ahead of everything.
Because we not only have to film, I have to edit. I have to make all the pictures for the social media.
Right.
I have to schedule the posts and schedule and upload the videos.
So the day the video comes out is not the day we filmed it.
No.
And most of you that are very close to us know this because we just went through the whole, computer crashing incident, and thank the good Lord that I had done the scheduling, the scripting, and forced him to come down, and we got all those videos done in the whole month of June or May or whatever month it was. June was all done in one day in May, and you got to edit them. You were on a roll, locked in that office.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then maybe that's why the computer went berserk and crashed and we lost everything. But yeah.
Now let's get to the part of why did we start it?
Yeah, well, we started it because I had been cruising with legs for 10 years with my friends. And then I got sick in 2010, and then we didn't get back to cruising until 2013 after several years of recovery. And I said, really, I know it was a tough time for me, but it was really a tough time for him taking care of me. And I said, maybe we should think about taking a vacation. How about a cruise? He had never been on a cruise. And 2013, we went on the first cruise of me in the wheelchair. And that's when the discovery was that after 2013, cruising 2014, 2015, because we didn't start the channel until...
The idea was born in 2013 when we saw how difficult it was. And, Frank and I are problem solvers. Yeah. So we're very much alike in that respect.
Yes.
And we were looking at, if we did things this way instead of this way, it would be easier. And maybe we got to make sure we book the handicap room. Right. And we have to make sure that we do this.
It was a lot of trial and error. A learning experience for a couple of years to say, when you're used to legs and now
And,
you're in a position where you're not, you're like, oh God, we should have done that because
And
now I can't do that.
Immediately when I got home from that first cruise in 2013, when we were back to cruising, I started looking on YouTube for how do you travel in a wheelchair, how do you cruise in a wheelchair, just anywhere for any information, and there was nothing.
Because we realized that there was a lot of things that I could not do because the cruise line and cruise ship couldn't and didn't make it available to someone in a wheelchair or scooter or walker or whatever, anybody with accessible needs. And it was like, wow, this is a problem. You need to get here. Oh, goodness, you know what it's like to get an elevator. Do you know what it's like to try to get into a restaurant? Do you know what it's like to get off a ship?
So all I have to say about all of that is we are the original channel about dealing with cruising with disabilities and accessibility. There are other ones out there now, which are great.
Yes.
And there are other channels that talk about it, but they really haven't lived it.
Right.
So
I'm excited.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, excited that anytime you can get a discussion going and bring an issue to the forefront and other channels, other people start talking about it is when change will occur. And that hopefully the cruise line, and we sit down, when we board the ship, we always sit down with the hotel director, as they call them, and we ask them questions. We press our issues of accessibility on board a cruise ship.
And we've changed the industry with some of these cruise lines.
That they don't
They didn't
realize
even realize
it.
Because the people that do the accessible routes and the muster drill, all those things,
and all that,
they are not in a chair or they do not have a disability.
They're in corporate.
They're in corporate.
They're in corporate. They have no clue, and I've always said this.
And some of them are not even. America's screwed up, but we're really great with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yes.
All these other countries don't have that.
They're not required by law.
Right.
They do it because they've been told that this is a convenience, and if you want us to stop in your country at this port, and we're going to build a port complex, you're going to have to provide this because there are accessible, needs for passengers.
So, it's been, like I'm just thinking like with Costa, in particular, Costa now has a whole line of wheelchair accessible excursions, which is amazing.
Yeah, a whole program, not just one or two, like a bus tour, and that's pretty much it. But a whole program. That's exciting to hear and see.
So the next question comes from Rich, and Rich writes, you sail a lot on NCL, where it's freestyle cruising. Do you ever do formal nights on traditional cruises?
Well, we have kind of started.
We've done it.
We've done it.
We don't prefer to do that.
Pack the suit and the tie and the dress shirt and the dress shoes. A lot of extra stuff. We've done that. We have pictures taken. When we just started getting back into cruising. I have, prior to us, when we were on a Costa cruise over in Europe, it was the Mediterranean, and it was suit and tie tuxedo every night for dinner, very traditional European, sitting at the same table with the same people. So I had to bring a multitude of suits. But we are all about vacation is for relaxing.
Right. And I will say that Frank worked his whole career in a suit and a tie.
Yes.
And in the beginning of my career as a hairdresser, I worked other jobs where I was required to wear a suit and a tie. And we don't want to do that. We're not the kind of people anymore. Not that shouldn't be taken as a bad connotation when I say that kind of people. It's just we're not the dressing up type.
Right. I mean,
we just want to relax, have a good time. So if we were going on if we were doing like a 12-day Mediterranean cruise, we would bring our suits and ties.
Yes.
We would definitely imbibe in the formal evenings.
Right.
Maybe one or two.
I would bring 2 suits.
I'd bring one.
I don't
need to.
But I remember, at work, people used to joke and say, because I was so corporate and all of
I
that.
don't even have a suit anymore.
That I was born wearing a suit and tie.
So I hope that answers your question. We do really enjoy freestyle
Yeah,
cruising, and on formal nights on NCL, they call it formal or not,
Yeah.
and we choose the not.
Yeah, right.
What's the next question?
Next one is from Sandy. Sandy says, do you both have a lot in common, or are you both opposite of each other?
That would be a yes.
Yes and yes. No, it's true, because we do have a lot in common, and we think a lot alike in certain things. But we are other things. We are very opposite. Like, I think we have a lot in common when it comes to creativity and design. When we talk about the houses, flipping the houses, redecorating, color palettes, design and stuff, we're very in sync on what we want to see. And we're like, oh yeah. Even when we're watching TV shows, HGTV, we're like, oh yeah, I would have done this.
There's a few times where we have been like, where and it's funny because sometimes it's you and you're not going to relent on what you want.
Right.
And sometimes it's me and I'm not going to relent.
Sometimes I'm like, oh hell no, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Right. So
at work, I think different. Because I've spent my entire career of 40 years in a corporate environment. I work for the man, corporate man. A lot of rules, regulations, a lot of legalities, things you are legally not allowed to say, to do. And I'm always following that in my head.
Not me.
Kevin has pretty much worked for himself. He is the man.
I am the man.
So there's a lot of
If you don't like it, get out of my chair and leave.
Right. So there's a lot of times he's like, well, I would do this. And I'm like, well, you can't. Because now in the current
and I look at him and I say, yes, I can.
Environment, whether we're reading an article or watching TV in the news, and there's something comes up, and I'm like, Kevin, let me clue you in. You cannot do that. That's not how it is done. There's a lot of legal issues. Life experiences,
Pretty similar.
We're similar. We're 17 years apart in age, but not that vast in terms of. I certainly didn't grow up a trust fund baby.
Neither did I.
He did not. He always says, we were poor too. But when he describes the size of his bedroom, which was the size of the entire, first floor of the house.
We lived in we lived in an old farmhouse.
My bedroom was a closet. Was a closet in my mother and sister's bedroom. That was my room. It accommodated a little twin bed and a baby dresser. That was my bedroom. So, yeah.
He loves telling that story.
Yeah, I love to tell it. Politics, pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
A little bit different sometimes. Religion.
Yeah, we have the same feeling on religion.
Yeah. But, yeah, so yes and yes on that question.
Yes and yes. Yes and
Next.
yes.
Who's next?
Well, Amanda. And she messaged us and wants to know, can she send her friends a Bon Voyage gift or some type of gift on their next cruise?
Oh, yes. Yes, you can, Amanda.
You can.
We have received lots of Bon Voyage gifts that were waiting in our cabin. It's pretty simple with most cruise lines, right?
With most cruise lines, you can go to their website or there will be a phone number. Just Google search it. And, we had some videos.
Yes.
I think they just came out.
Yes.
About giving gifts on a cruise.
Yes.
And we're going to start a whole series on that,
Right.
a whole playlist.
Yeah.
And the playlists will focus on that specific cruise line and how to do it.
And what kind of gifts are available. We'll show you. So easy peasy there, honey.
Melvin
is asking, you are both from different generations. As a gay married couple now, how are your experiences coming out? Same or different? Well, first of all, I'll start with me. I'm a baby boomer. Okay, I'm the baby boomer generation. I was born in 1957. And now I looked, it's funny because I looked this up. And I baby boomers, what are the characteristics of a baby boomer? And this is what it said online. Baby boomers have a strong work ethic. Yes. Baby boomers aren't afraid to put in a hard day's work. Lord, a lot of 18 plus hours I did. Independent and self-assured. Yeah, kind of independent. Competitive, oh, very much so. Goal-centric, yes. Resourceful, yeah, a bit of a MacGyver. Mentally focused, yep. Team-oriented, yes, but sometimes I don't play nice because I want things my way. And disciplined, and I would say I am disciplined. Would you agree or disagree with those things?
I would say yes for most of them.
Okay.
I would say a pretty strong yes to almost all of them.
But
Some of them,
what?
I don't know.
What? Speak.
What do you want me to say? I don't know. I just think most of them are right on, and I think sometimes you're not team oriented.
I just told you that. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, no, I want it this way. I want it this way. I'm not going to play nice because I believe that's wrong, and I believe I'm right.
And I think sometimes you're not as self-assured as you should be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I try to be, or the projection of self-assurance,
Right,
is different from being self-assured. Mm-hmm. Now, what does yours say? Because you're a Generation Xer.
Well, I'm a Gen Xer, and basically the way that they describe Gen Xers are they're expert do-it-yourselfers, check. We're also called latchkey generation because it's a label that kind of gives a nod to the hands-off approach of upbringing.
I was a latchkey kid, but it was not by choice.
You were the original latchkey kid.
It was not by choice, only because my mother and father are divorced, and my mom had to go to work, and so my sister and I were alone.
This is about me now.
Sorry, just want to say we're latchkey. We're latchkey twins.
It basically said when we looked this up that Gen Xers rebelled against the excessive and flashy 80s.
No.
That is not me. By opting for anti-fashion staples such as flannel shirts, Doc Martens, and oversized sweaters.
Oh, hell no.
Nope,
not you.
Not me. So I do not fit that mold.
Right.
Even beauty trends were comparatively pared down.
No. No.
And it's said that they're the work hard, play hard generation.
Yeah. Yes.
And they are very tech savvy,
Check.
but not tech dependent. They're fiercely independent.
Yes. Yes.
So I feel like...
Except for the fashion and the flash.
Well, but I feel like because of the career I chose, too.
Yes.
That
was your career.
I cannot be anti-fashion.
Right.
And I just have to speak to whoever wrote that about Gen Xers.
Right.
That flannel shirts, Doc Martens, and oversized sweaters is a fashion trend. So I just think it's funny that they say they're anti-fashion and they go to those staples. It's just funny to me.
Okay, who's the last one? What's the last question? We didn't talk about experiences.
We didn't talk about the question at all.
Oh gosh, coming out.
So, you said we would.
Oh gosh.
Are we the same? Do we have the same or different experiences?
Oh, very different. I mean, very different again.
Well, we have similarities and differences at the same point.
Yeah.
So, I was married to a woman, and Frank was married to a woman previously before coming out.
Yes, I was married, had 3 children, married for 15 years, got divorced, and I didn't come out till well after my divorce. Even though I knew I was gay when I was a little kid. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I was different.
And I came out to my wife. It was what it was. And
have a good time on the honeymoon, dear. I'm going to the clubs.
And I remember, I kind of kept it quiet with family. And one day, we were divorced, living separately. Well, we technically weren't divorced yet, but we were living separately. And my mother called, and she was like, "Oh, how are you?" Talk. And I had said, "I gotta go. I'm going out on a date." Oh, what's she like? And I said, "Well, he's gay and he's black." Gotta talk to you later. Bye. And I hung up the phone. So that's how I came out to my mother.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's funny.
But-
That's funny.
Yeah. So we had similarities and differences.
Yes, mine was just later in life.
Well, I would think for a Gen Xer, I was later.
Yeah, yes, you were for a Gen Xer.
The next question and final question comes from Tony, and it's an interesting one. And he writes, I'm going on a bicycle shore excursion on the island of Tortola. Can I bring my own bike?
Oh, wow. You mean like board the ship with the bike and ride the bike on the ship?
Well, we have seen this. We have traveled on quite a few different cruise lines. And there actually was one time where we were in Tortola.
Oh, that's right, with the bike race going.
And Darlene and David were with us. And David is an avid bike rider, and he was really excited to see this. The interesting thing about your question is it's all going to depend on the cruise line that you are sailing.
Yes.
You need to check with them about their regulations
Always.
of whether you can bring your bicycle or not. Because they're probably going to go through and ask you, is your bike collapsible? Do you have a quick release on your wheel? Do you have a bag for it? How are you bringing it here?
Right.
How much does it weigh?
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah.
these kind of things because
Similar to my wheelchair.
Right.
Is it collapsible? How much does it weigh? What are the dimensions? Same
so
thing.
the answer I will give you is maybe you can bring your own bike, but never fear because these bicycle excursions that we saw in Tortola, the cruise line actually offloaded all of these bikes.
Wow.
They were all the same. This was I forget the cruise line that they were on, but it was a European cruise line. And they offered this bicycle excursion through them. So it wasn't something you purchased off island. So they carried all their bikes on the cruise
Cool.
ship. So my guess is if you're doing this excursion and you're paying the money, the bike rental is included.
Check it out.
Although
Sure.
I know avid cyclists want their own bicycle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It would be like somebody saying, can you cut my hair? Here's my scissors.
Right.
So, yeah. So we want to thank you for joining us for another exciting Q&A. And we want to remind you, we don't want to remember.
No, I hope we remember to remind you.
We want to remind you not to just watch our videos, but become a regular Cruising with Wheels family member. We'd love to have you aboard. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and that little bell to get regular notifications of when our videos go live.
And remember, we're on all the other social media platforms, so check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And remember to always travel safe.
And cruise often.